All right, we're off and running. All right, so coming back from last week, if you guys remember last week, okay, stick with me on this. I know we're just getting started. For those of you that are watching online, this is Monday morning, so people are just kind of half asleep, so I get it. Let's talk about what we did last week. Do you guys remember doing this, where we used the quadratic formula to find the roots? Do you guys remember this, where we found that point and that point? Not necessarily quadratic formula, but we used quadratics where we would solve like x squared plus, I don't know, 5x plus 6. Do you guys remember doing this? And it was like we would set them equal to what? 0. Do you guys remember that? We called them zeros. We called them whatever. And we would factor this, and we had x plus 3, x plus 2, and we would set them both equal to 0. So we had x plus 3 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0. And we solve it, and we get x is, and then our list was -3 and -2. You guys remember doing this? Okay, I see some nodding. Yes, we do remember that. Today we're going to talk about the quadratic formula. Now, this is it. I know it looks a whole lot worse than it really is, okay? This looks awful. Negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, okay? That sounds very, very, very complex. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where stuff goes, and you can use your calculator to figure it out. Now, what you have is a plus or a minus. You guys see that? So what's going to happen is once you get it set up, you can literally go back into your calculator, one time hit plus, and then the next time I'm going to put a minus, and it gives you two different answers. Okay? But you just have to know how to plug it in. On your exams and on your star and stuff like that, what we're going to do is we're going to give you the quadratic formula. We're going to give you the equation in the quadratic formula, and you have to be able to discern what the A is, what the B is, and what the C is. You do that, you're going to be just fine. Okay, does that make sense? Everybody with me on this? Now, it looks worse than it looks a whole lot worse. Okay, please do me a favor. I want you to write this down at the top. We're going to write down ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. That is your quadratic equation. That is your quadratic equation. And the important part of this, what's the very first letter you see? The A. The A is going to be the one in front of the A or the x squared. Okay? So anytime you have an A, it would go where the A is. There and there. Okay? Whatever B is, which is the one in front of the X, would go where the B is, which is there and there. Now this one says negative B. What does that mean? What's going to happen to the sign? It's going to do what? It's going to flip. If you put a negative in there, two negatives are going to make it a what? It's going to make it a positive. And if you put a positive in there, the negative B is going to make it a negative. Okay, so this one's always going to be backwards. Okay, and then what's the last letter you see? C. That goes right there. Literally, you just have to plug in the equation and hit enter. Okay, dead serious. Like literally, that is it. You just need to know where to put the letters. Okay, fair? Don't overthink this. Okay, we're going to do a few of these examples. Literally, all we're going to practice is just setting it up. Okay, just setting it up and solving it. And you have a calculator, I hope, and we're going to practice this on your calculator. All right, here we go. Make sure the equation is set equal to 0. Put a star next to that. That is extremely important. We still have to set the equation equal to what? 0 to make it work. Okay, we still have to be equal to 0 to make this thing work. And it's going to be written in standard form. In other words, ax squared plus bx plus c. I want to go literally biggest to smallest. X squared, x, no x. Okay, standard form. Okay. Identify the a, the b, and the c, and then we're going to substitute these values into the formula, and we are going to simplify. Everybody good? All right, here we go. For the example, let's do this. What is my a? A is 1. What is b? B is -5. Good. Make sure you pay attention to that sign. There's my A. If there's no number, what is the number, guys, always? It's a 1. Okay, my B is -5. What is C, guys? C is -36. Okay, so here we go. I want to set this thing up. You ready for this? So negative. Now, somebody read me the equation. Negative what? What is B? So -5. I can write it like this. I'm going to write it just like that. Everybody good? Plus or minus, so plus and minus. So don't put it in your calculator just yet. I want you to write it down first. the square root. So there's your radical. That's going to be second and x squared on your calculator. We talked about it. Remember the little radical sign? Okay. B squared. What is B again? -5. And please, when you do put a negative in there, when you substitute all these values, do me a favor, put them all in what? Parentheses. That will help so you don't make any stupid mistakes with your signs. Remember, we talked about this. -5 squared is completely different than this. We talked about that early in the year. Remember, the square goes to what is exactly next to it. You got to put in parentheses. You have to, especially if it's a negative. Okay? -b. Okay? Minus, what's the next thing it says? Oh, I'm sorry. I got to put the squared. 4. What's the next thing it says after 4? A. What is A? 1. I'm going to go ahead and put the 1. It's not going to change anything, but I'm going to put it in there anyway. And then what is C? -36, right? All over 2 times A. What is A again? 1. There's my setup. Is everybody good so far? So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to pause the video while I give people time to type this in, okay? What I want you to do is take your calculator, and I want you to try to plug it in exactly as you see this. Now, where it says plus or minus, let's go ahead and do the plus. Let's go ahead and do the plus, okay? And then we'll go back through and we'll do the minus. So hit plus and then square root, and I'm going to pause the video so we can get everybody on the same page, okay? Okay, I'm going to type this thing in with you. I have writing on the board just so we have it. If we want a fraction, those either calculator, I got to hit alpha, y equals 1, right? There's my fraction. So I have a negative and a -5. Now, if I wanted to, I could just put what? A +5? Yes. But because you guys are doing this, I'm going to go negative, and I'm going to go parentheses, -5, and I'm going to close it. Is everybody good so far? And then I'm going to hit plus, and then what's the next thing I have? The square root. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit alpha, second and x squared. There it is. So I'm going to go parentheses, -5, close the parentheses, I'm going to hit squared. Okay, -4, parentheses 1, parentheses what? -36. Okay, close it. Now, is the top okay? Is the top right? Okay, let's erase this. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom. Now, you don't have to put the 1, but what is 2 times 1? 2. I'm going to go ahead and just put 2 down here. Is everybody with me? All I did was I just simplified 2 times 1. Okay? Now, I'm going to hit enter. This is going to be one of my points. So let's go ahead and hit enter. I got 9. There's the first one. So this, if I took the equation and factored it out, that tells me that the first one is +9. Now my marker's drying out. Okay? So I've got 9. Everybody good? Now watch what happens on your calculator, please. Let's watch your calculator. Is everybody still with me? I see everybody's paying close attention. I'm going to push my arrow up, and I'm going to highlight it so you don't have to retype this whole thing. Everybody good? Highlight it and hit enter. Now, what changed? What is changing? What was the thing I had to go back and fix? The plus is now going to be a what? So I'm going to highlight the plus, and this time I'm going to make it a minus. Because it says plus or minus. Yes? On the first one it's plus, the second one it's minus. Everybody good? Now, here's what I like about this. Once you already have this in once, don't clear your calculator. Because if you clear it, then you got to retype the whole thing. Once you have the -b plus minus, you can actually just reset all the numbers and keep the same equation twice. Everybody with me on that? Okay, so we don't have to, if you clear out your calculator, no, then you have to retype it. Okay, so everything's good. The only thing that changed was that. So I'm going to hit enter. What's my second number? -4. So kind of like last week when we would split it and set it equal to 0 and we'd have 2 different numbers. Today, my 2 numbers are 9 and what? -4. Those are my 2 answers. Those are my 2 factors. Yes?
I didn't see, how did you change it to
I went, once I highlight it, I go back up, like I push arrow up until it's highlighted, and I hit enter. And then I just use the arrows to get to where I want.
And then you just delete.
I just highlighted it, like this. See that minus sign right there where it's blinking? Just push plus. You just change the sign. Yes?
My answers are showing up as fractions.
Let's see what you did wrong. Negative, -5, -5 squared, -4, parentheses, 65. -5, -4. Oh, because you put -4 instead of -4.
Oh,
Yeah, the calculator is kind of funky like that. You got to make sure this is a minus sign, guys. Did anybody else get fractions? Yes. That's got to be a minus, not in your calculator. Your calculator, it's kind of funky. If you put it as a negative instead of a minus, it's going to multiply it instead of. Go if you want to go back and make that a minus sign instead of a negative. It'll change it. Yes. Which one? Right there. Negative. Negative, negative. The only one that should be a minus is in front of the what? The 4. That's because it's part of the equation, guys. Everybody good? So if I go back to my notes, there we go. What do we get? -9, +9, -4. Everybody good? All right, so I'm going to be bouncing back. The reason I have my key is because I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between this and the keyboard, or this and the calculator. Fair? All right, let's go to the next one. Simplify it. Here we go. Number 1. What was direction number 1? What did it say? Make them equal to what, guys? 0. So what happened? What do I need to move? I need to move the 20 and make it a what? A -20. So my new equation, I'm going to put it over here just because of the calculator, because I'm going to bounce back and forth. So I've got x squared minus 8x minus 20, right? All I did was I took this positive 20, for those of you that are watching, I took the 20 to this side. Basically, I subtracted 20 from both sides. Everybody good? So now I've got x squared minus 8x minus 20 equals 0. So now I can go A, B, C. Like literally, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I'm not going to go through all your notes, okay? But I want to be able to identify, what is my A? What's A? 1. What is B? -8. What is C? -20. Do me a favor, go back to your calculator. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know if it'll let me. I need to click escape. Here we go, calculator. Now here's what I like. Once I already have it, here's my equation. Here's my A, my B, and my C, right? Go up, highlight it. So I'm going to go up. Let me just hit enter on this. Where am I at? There it is. Hit enter. All right, here we go. Let's go up, highlight it, hit enter. So you have your problem. So now, what was my B? It was -5, right? What is my new B? It's now -8. So I'm going to just go up. Oh, nope. No, it wasn't. It was -5. So now, what is my B, guys? -8. So I'm going to highlight the 5, and I'm just going to put an 8 there. So I don't have to retype the entire thing. Okay? I'm going to keep going over, push arrow over. Same thing, -5 is now going to be -8. Make sure the sign is correct. Yes, sir. I just push arrow up to the problem that was above it. Using this arrow, I push left to get onto the problem, and I just use these arrows. Okay, push left to get onto the problem. -4. My A is still 1, so we're good there. What is my B, guys? Negative what? 20. -20. That is my what? That's my C. You're right. That is my C. Everything looks good, right? So what do I hit? Enter. First one's 10. So my first point is +10. What needs to change? The plus and minus. So here you go. This was the question you were asking. So I'm going to go up, highlight it. Everybody like the highlighting thing?
Yeah.
Makes it pretty easy, doesn't it? So I'm going to highlight it, and here you go. This was where you were asking. You watching? I'm going to push arrow left to start, and that puts me on the problem. And I'm just going to go up. I'm just going to use the arrows. I'm going to go back to the minus sign. Plus and minus. So there we go. I changed it to a minus. I hit enter. The other one's a -2. I see a lot of people like, okay, I could do this. It looks a lot worse than it really is. Would you agree? It is just being able to identify A, B, and C. Okay. Here in a minute, I have some problems that are actually not on your worksheet. I'm going to change a couple of them. I'm going to give you the equation. I'm actually going to give you the equation, and I'm actually going to ask you to write me I'm going to give you the fraction like this. I'm going to give you the quadratic formula, and you actually have to write the equation out. You have to be able to identify the A, the B, and the C that are inside of the formula. Okay. Which really isn't that bad. Okay. Everybody good? Everybody semi-good? Can I go back to the notes on this? All right. Let's go to, let me go back to it, going. Sorry, I'm bouncing back and forth between the, there we are. So we're good there. What was the second one, guys? 10 and what? 10 and -2? Let's do it the way we did it the other day. Factoring. If we split this, what are the factors of -20? 20 and 1, 10 and 2, and 5 and 4, right? -8, which means my larger sign is going to be negative. This is negative, which means this side is going to be positive, positive, positive. Which combination adds up to be -8? X minus 10, X plus 2. What's the opposite of -10? What's the opposite of +2? -2. It all kind of works together. Okay, so it's all the same information that we have been doing. This is just another way. Now, like I said, on your test, they're probably going to give it to you the quadratic formula, okay? Does everybody understand this? Can I move on from this? Yes? No? Okay. Like I said, I could tell you the same thing over and over and over again. Let's look at it. Number 1 is the same. Number 2, sorry, this is number 5, number 6. Oh, shoot, we're on 5 and 6. I've already slid over. It is basically just put it in, like this one right here. Everybody see this? How would I solve this one? Let's go down to number 8. I'm not going to ask you to put it in the equation, but how would I make this? Not distribute. I've got to set them equal to what, guys? 0. So what needs to move? Okay, hold on. You said the 4 first. +4 needs to come over and become a what? -4. So I'm going to subtract 4 from this side, which there's no like term. So now I've got -4 on the end, right? Okay, what else needs to move? -3x. When I move it, it becomes a what? +3x squared. There's already a 3x squared there. So what do? I add them. So it becomes 6x squared minus 5x. Please write that down. -4 equals 0. Okay, just so that you have that as an example. Just so you have it as an example. Everybody good? There are some irrational solutions, but I am not going to go into that. Okay, I really don't think you need to know it. All right, you ready to try one of these, like if I give you the formula? All right, here we go. I am completely making this up. Like right now while I'm standing here, I have no idea what I'm going to write. Okay, so this is completely made up. You need to work with your partner to identify the A, the B, and the C in this formula that I'm about to give you, and you need to write the equation. So your answer is going to look like this. Not the fraction. I'm going to write the fraction. We're working backwards now. Everybody understand? You will see this. Another point, you are going to see this. All right, here we go. So let's go. Go. Give me the equation. Now I'm going to pause the video so you guys can ponder on that for a minute. Let's do the first one together. Okay. What's the equation? Now, if you guys remember, the equation is negative what? Look at your notes. What's the first letter you see in your notes? Negative what? Negative B. What do you have over here? Negative what? So what is B? No, it's +5. Remember, it's back. The negative makes it what? Backwards. It's backwards. The negative makes it backwards. So it's negative. Okay. So we're done there. Okay. So now this is what I was talking about. I had the video paused just a second ago But what they did is sometimes you're going to see the number, you might actually see 5 squared, or they might simplify it to say, what do they have up here for 5 squared, guys? 25. So sometimes they're going to solve it for you. Just understand, here's your b, there's your b also. Okay? If it was a negative, you might see it like this, negative 5, or you might see it just as 5. Okay? You might see it just as a positive 5. So you need to know, I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. The way that I learned this was I always took off one negative on the front. I always took off one negative. Do you know what that means? I always take off one negative. Oh, I see people saying no. Because isn't my equation, doesn't it start negative b plus and minus, yada, yada, yada. We got negative b, right? What's the very first thing I see? Negative. So when I'm taking this, I'm going to get rid of one negative. So what's left? 5, positive 5. I'm going to get rid of one negative. Now, what if they just give me a positive number? What makes a positive? What makes a positive, guys? 2 negatives. So I could rewrite it as a negative, and then I can take off what? Take off one negative. What's left? Negative 5. There's my B. Okay? I always learned it as take off one negative on the front when I'm taking it out of the equation. Whatever works for you. We just need to know that it's a negative, which means my sign is going to switch. You've got to be very, very careful with that B. Everybody understand that? All right. So here we go. B squared minus 4. What's after the 4? What letter? A. What number is that? So I got 2x squared. Okay, what is the next thing after A? Positive 7. Guess what? I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I identified the A, the B, and the C. I'm done. Once you identify A, B, and C, putting together the equation should not be a big deal. Agreed? You want to try that again? You want to put it somewhere else? Just find someplace on your notes. Okay, if you want to go to the bottom where it says irrational answers, you can put it there because we're not going to do irrational stuff. That's more algebra 2. Okay? All right, here we go. Let's try another one. All right. Let's have some fun with it. 6 plus minus 36 minus 4 Go. Find me the A, the B, and the C, and I want you to write the equation. Go. Ooh, Coach Moy's got coffee. Okay, so here in a second, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to give you the equation only. I'm not going to say anything about it, and I want you to check your work against it, okay? I'll give you the equation, check your work, see how you did. All right, here we go. Is that what you got? I see people erasing. What happened? And learn, because some of you guys, I bet we might have made the same mistakes. Where do we mess up? Did you guys get the A correct? The A should not have been an issue. The A is always going to be after the 4. Okay? 4AC. Say that. 4AC. That part is usually not going to be the problem. Did you guys mess up on the B? Is that where you messed up? Or did you put plus negative? Did you do that? Did anybody do that? Yara, did you do that? On the C? Plus. Oh, okay. Now remember, the A and the C, these do not change. Okay, those do not change. Do not change those signs. Do not change those. Do not change the A and the C. Everybody with me on that? Do not change the A and the C. Now, I know that the equation is this right here. AX squared plus BX plus C. What that simply means, these plus signs right here, all they mean is whatever the value is, don't change them when you put them into the equation. Don't change them when you put them in the A, the B, and the C. Does that make sense? Don't change them. Whatever the number is, that's the number, that's the sign. okay? That doesn't mean I have to leave it as a plus. That just means whatever the value. If it's a negative, I keep it as a negative. If it's a positive, whatever, I just leave it like it is, okay? Now, how many of you missed this? What is a positive? What makes a positive? How many negatives make a positive? Two of them do. What did I tell you to do? Take one of them off. What's my number? -6. So that's where I got the B of -6. Everybody good? Any more? How you guys feel on that? How you guys feel on identifying A, B, and C? 1 to 5. Show me. See a lot of 4s, a lot of 5s. We're good. This quadratic formula, please don't. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the notes. Don't overthink it. Okay? Do not overthink it. As long as you know how to put it in the calculator and put it in the equation, you're going to be just fine. Okay? Take a little break and we'll go from there. Okay?